Ben did not think his life would change when he woke up that morning. It was a normal day on the far-off colony world of Haven, where humans and aliens tried to live together. Ben worked as an engineer. He was good with machines, but he liked working alone. He fixed things that broke around the colony and did not talk much to others. Today he had a new job. There was a strange alien device near the edge of the colony and it stopped working. Ben was asked to go and fix it. As Ben walked across the quiet fields, he thought about home back on Earth. Haven was a strange place with blue grass, tall trees, and bright moons. The sky was always a pale purple. The people here were friendly enough, but Ben missed his family and the old way of life. Still, he liked the peace of Haven. It felt like a place where he could start again. He reached the alien device, which looked like a tall silver flower. Lights on its sides flashed in different colors. Ben took out his tools and began to work. He did not notice the alien girl at first. She stood behind a large bush, watching him. Her skin was light blue, and her hair fell in soft silver waves. She wore a long dress with bright patterns. Ben heard a small sound and looked up. The girl stepped forward, her eyes shining with curiosity. "Are you fixing our energy flower?" she asked. Her voice was gentle, but her words had a strange accent. Ben nodded. "I'm trying to," he said. "These things are new to me." "Do you know much about them?" She smiled and shook her head. "Not really. I'm just here to watch. Father says I should learn about humans and what they do." She walked closer, her hands folded. In front of her, Ben felt a bit nervous. He had never talked to an alien this close before. "I'm Ben," he said quietly. "My name is Lyra," she replied. "My father is the leader of our people here." She did not sound proud, just honest. "Do you mind if I watch?" Ben shrugged. "I guess not." "Just don't get too close. If something goes wrong, it might be dangerous." Lyra nodded and stood a few steps away. Ben worked on the energy flower, opening small panels and checking wires. He tried to explain what he was doing. "This is a power cable. Sometimes it gets loose. Or maybe one of these crystals is out of place. I don't know if your people fix things the same way." Lyra listened with wide eyes. "We use energy stones. They need to be lined up right or the power stops." "Do you have anything like that on Earth?" Ben shook his head. "Not really. We have wires and batteries, but it's kind of the same idea." For a while they worked together in silence. Ben liked that Lyra did not try to show off or ask silly questions. She was just interested. Every now and then she would point out something he missed. "That light is flickering more than the others," she said once. Ben checked it and found a loose wire. He fixed it quickly. Suddenly, there was a loud cry in the distance. Lyra turned pale. "That's a wild Zinth. They're dangerous." Ben looked up, and he could see movement in the tall grass. He grabbed his small tool bag and stepped in front of Lyra. "Stay behind me," he said. The Zinth looked like a giant cat with scales and sharp teeth. It stalked toward them, growling. Ben searched for something to protect them. He picked up a broken metal pipe and stood his ground. The Zinth got closer, its yellow eyes locked on Lyra. Ben shouted and waved the pipe. He threw a small rock to distract the creature. It paused for a moment, then jumped toward them. Ben swung the pipe and hit the ground near the Zinth's feet. The noise and sudden move made the creature stop and back away. Lyra was scared but did not run. She trusted Ben. Together, they waited until the Zinth left. Ben dropped the pipe and let out a long breath. "Are you okay?" he asked. "Yes," Lyra said, still shaking. "Thank you." "I thought it would attack us." Ben smiled a little. "I was scared too. But sometimes you just have to try." Lyra looked at Ben with new respect. Most people would run. You did not. Ben felt his face turn red. He was not used to praise. "I just did what anyone would do." They went back to the energy flower. Ben finished. The repairs and the lights turned a steady green. Lyra clapped her hands. "You fixed it. My father will be happy." Ben smiled. "It's my job. But it helps to have someone watching out for me." Lyra grinned. "Maybe we make a good team." As the sun set, the sky turned orange and gold. Lyra stayed with Ben as he packed up his tools. They talked about small things, what food they liked, what Earth was like, and the games Lyra played as a child. Ben told her about fishing with his dad and camping in the woods. Lyra shared stories about her family and the strange creatures of her world. As they walked back toward the colony, Lyra stopped and looked up at the sky. "Sometimes I feel lonely here," she said quietly. "Everyone expects me to be perfect because I am a princess. But I just want to see things and talk to people." Ben understood that feeling. "It's hard being away from home," he said. "But sometimes you find good people in strange places." Lyra smiled. "Maybe I have found a friend." Ben nodded. "Maybe you have." When they reached the edge of the colony, a group of aliens in bright uniforms waited for Lyra. They bowed as she walked up. Lyra turned to Ben one more time. "Thank you for letting me watch. Maybe I can help you again." Ben shrugged. "Sure, I can always use a hand." Lyra smiled and joined her people. Ben watched her go, feeling something new in his heart. He had never expected to meet an alien princess or to feel less alone in the universe. As he walked home, he thought about Lyra's words and the strange, bright future that might be waiting for both of them on Haven. Ben woke up early the next morning. He felt different after meeting Lyra the day before. He kept thinking about her bright eyes and the way she listened to him. He wondered if he would see her again. When Ben reached the workshop, his friend, Lucas, was waiting for him. Lucas was tall and always ready to joke around, but today he looked worried. "Ben, did you hear?" Lucas asked. "An alien ship landed near the hills last night. People are saying it is not from Lyra's group." Ben frowned. "Another alien group? What do they want?" Lucas shook his head. "No one knows yet. But the leaders are meeting now." They told everyone to stay close to the main colony. Ben's mind raced. He remembered Lyra saying her father was the leader of her people. He hoped she was safe. After fixing a few broken lights in the main hall, Ben stepped outside. He looked toward the alien quarter, where Lyra's people lived in special homes made of glass and stone. He saw guards everywhere. The air felt tense, as if everyone was waiting for something bad to happen. Suddenly, an alarm sounded through the colony. Ben heard a voice on the speaker. "All colonists must return to the main building. This is not a drill." "Repeat, this is not a drill." Ben hurried back inside with Lucas and the others. They waited in silence until the colony chief, Mrs. Clark, appeared. She had a serious face and gray hair tied back. She spoke quietly. "A ship from a rival alien group has landed. They sent a message. They want Princess Lyra. If we do not give her to them, they will attack." There were shocked gasps all around. Ben's heart jumped. Why would they want Lyra? Someone asked. Mrs. Clark shook her head. "They did not say. But we know Lyra's people, and these new arrivals have a long history of fighting. We are trying to talk to both sides, but it is not safe. The princess must be hidden at once." Ben could not just stand there. He pushed through the crowd and found Mrs. Clark. "I know Lyra. I can help her hide." Mrs. Clark looked at him for a moment. "Do you trust her?" Ben nodded. "Yes. And she trusts me." Mrs. Clark gave a quick nod. "Then go to the alien quarter. Her guards will help you. Move fast." Ben ran through the colony, past worried people and groups of armed guards. When he reached the alien quarter, he saw Lyra standing near her house, surrounded by her father's guards. She was talking to her father, a tall man with deep blue skin and sharp eyes. Ben waved and Lyra saw him right away. She ran over. "Ben, what is happening?" "There is no time to explain," Ben said. "You are in danger. Come with me. Your people and mine both want you safe." Lyra turned to her father. "Please let Ben help me. I trust him." Her father looked at Ben for a long moment. "Go, Lyra." "Do what?" "You must." The guards helped them slip out a back gate, away from the main road. Ben led Lyra toward the edge of the colony. He thought about where they could hide. "The forest," he said. "They will not look for us there." Lyra's dress was not made for running, but she did not complain. Ben grabbed a jacket from his house on the way and gave it to her. "Wear this. It will help you blend in." They hurried into the forest, the trees tall and shadows long. Ben could hear his own heart beating. He listened for any sign of trouble. Behind them, he heard voices shouting and footsteps on the main road. "They are looking for us," Lyra whispered. Ben nodded. "Stay close, we have to keep moving." They followed a narrow path deeper into the woods. Ben remembered fishing here once with Lucas. There were old trails and a small stream. Lyra was tired, but she kept going. After a while, they stopped to rest behind a big tree. "Are you all right?" Ben asked. Lyra nodded. "Just scared. Do you think they will find us?" Ben shook his head. "Not if we keep moving. We need to find a good place to hide for the night." They walked until the sun started to set. Ben found a small cave behind thick bush. It was dry and hidden. "We can stay here tonight," he said. Lyra looked nervous, but Ben tried to make her feel better. "I used to go camping back home." "Caves like this are safe if you keep quiet." Ben gathered dry branches and built a small fire just outside the cave. He kept it small so no one would see the smoke. Lyra sat beside him, her knees pulled up close. "I have never done anything like this before," she said. Ben smiled. "It is not so bad. Sometimes you just need to be brave." Lyra looked at him and smiled a little. "You are very brave, Ben." Ben shook his head. "I am just doing what I can." As night fell, the sounds of the forest grew louder. Strange animals called in the dark. Ben sat near the cave entrance, listening for any signs of trouble. He thought about what the rival aliens wanted. He did not understand their reasons, but he knew he could not let them take Lyra. She was kind and gentle. She did not deserve to be used as a prize in a fight. Lyra shivered in the cool air. Ben gave her his jacket and moved closer to the fire. "Try to get some sleep. I will stay awake for a while." She nodded. "Thank you." Soon, Lyra fell asleep. Ben stayed awake, thinking about home and about Lyra. He wondered what his family would say if they knew he was protecting an alien princess. But to him, Lyra was more than a princess. She was a friend who needed his help. The next morning, Ben woke to the sound of birds. Lyra was already awake, looking at the trees. "I have never been so close to nature," she said. "It is beautiful," Ben agreed. "It is peaceful out here. But we cannot stay long. We need to move before anyone finds us." They followed the stream, walking deeper into the hills. Ben knew there was an old mining outpost nearby. It had not been used in years, but he hoped it could be a safe place to hide. As they walked, Ben and Lyra talked about small things. They shared stories to keep their minds off their worries. Lyra told Ben about the stars her people came from. She said her planet had green skies and floating gardens. Ben listened closely. "It sounds like a dream," Lyra laughed. "Maybe you will see it one day." Suddenly they heard voices. Ben pulled Lyra down behind a bush. They saw 3 aliens from the rival group searching the woods. They carried strange weapons and spoke in a language Ben did not understand. He held his breath as they passed by, their boots crunching on the ground. When it was safe, Ben and Lyra got up and hurried away. Lyra grabbed Ben's hand, her fingers cold. "Thank you for not leaving me," she whispered. Ben squeezed her hand. "I would never leave you." They reached the old mining outpost by midday. It stood on a hill, hidden by trees and rocks. Ben checked the door. It was rusty, but he pushed it open. Inside, the air was cool and dusty. There were old tools and empty crates. Ben found a corner where they could rest. "We will stay here for now. It is safer than the cave." Lyra sat down, tired but relieved. "Do you think they will come here?" Ben shook his head. "They will look near the colony first. We have time to rest and plan." As the afternoon turned to evening, Ben watched the sky through a crack in the wall. He saw the sun set and the 2 moons rise. Lyra lay down beside him, close but not touching. "Thank you, Ben," she said softly. "I do not feel so afraid when you are here," Ben smiled. "I am glad I can help." They listened to the sounds of the night and tried to sleep, knowing the next day would bring new dangers. But for now, they were safe, together, and a little less alone. Ben woke up to soft light coming through a broken window. It took him a moment to remember where he was. He saw Lyra sleeping nearby, curled up under his jacket. She looked peaceful, but her face was tired. Ben listened to the quiet around them. The old mining outpost felt safe for now, but he knew they could not stay forever. He wondered what would happen if the rival aliens found them here. He wanted to keep Lyra safe, no matter what. When Lyra woke up, she smiled at Ben. "Good morning," she said in a small voice. "Did you sleep well?" Ben nodded. "A little. But I kept thinking about what will happen next." Lyra sat up and brushed her hair from her face. "I'm sorry you are in danger because of me," Ben shook his head. "It is not your fault. I want to help you. You are my friend." She looked at him for a moment and then smiled softly. "Thank you." Ben walked around the outpost, checking for food and supplies. He found some old bottles of water, a box of crackers, and a small radio in a dusty corner. He brought them back to Lyra. "We have a little food and water, and I found this radio. Maybe I can fix it." Lyra watched as Ben took apart the radio. His hands moved quickly, checking wires and cleaning dirt from the inside. "You are very clever," Lyra said. "On my world, people like you are highly respected," Ben smiled. "On Earth, I just fix things." He worked on the radio for a long time, using a knife and a broken screwdriver he found in the outpost. Lyra sat nearby and tried to help, handing him tools or holding the flashlight steady. Sometimes they joked and laughed. Ben showed Lyra how to use the radio dials and told her stories about Earth. Lyra liked hearing about oceans, mountains, and big cities. Ben listened as she described her home planet, with its floating gardens and glowing rivers. "Do you miss your family?" Ben asked gently. Lyra nodded. "Every day. But I want to see more of the universe. I do not want to be just a princess who follows orders." Ben understood. "I left Earth because I wanted a new start. Sometimes I think about my old life, but I'm glad I came here. I met you." Lyra looked at him with bright eyes. "You are brave to leave everything behind." "I wish I could do the same." Ben finished fixing the radio and tried to turn it on. At first, nothing happened. He opened the back and changed a wire, then tried again. This time, the radio crackled and made a soft sound. Ben grinned. "It works. Maybe we can send a message." He pressed the button and spoke quietly. "This is Ben. I'm at the old mining outpost. I'm with Lyra. We need help." They waited, but there was no answer. Ben was disappointed, but Lyra put her hand on his arm. "You did your best. Maybe someone will hear us." As the sun rose higher, Ben and Lyra tried to rest. They were tired from running and hiding. Ben sat by the window and watched the sky. He wondered if anyone would find them. He thought about Lucas and Mrs. Clark and hoped they were all right. Lyra joined him at the window. She pointed to the birds flying by. "We have birds like that on my world," she said. "They sing in the morning and bring good luck." Ben smiled. "Maybe we will have good luck too." Time passed slowly. Ben fixed a broken chair and made a small table from old boards. He taught Lyra how to make a simple campfire outside, using dry sticks and stones. They cooked the last of their crackers over the fire and shared a small meal. Lyra tried to tell a joke she learned from Ben, and they both laughed at her strange accent. Ben felt happy for a little while. It was easy to forget about the danger when they were together. Later, Ben and Lyra sat by the fire and talked about their dreams. Lyra said she wanted to see the stars and visit Earth. She wanted to ride a boat on the ocean and eat sweet food. Ben told her about his dream to build something new, maybe a small house by a lake. He wanted a quiet life with friends and family close by. As the sun started to set, Lyra became quiet. She looked sad. Ben asked what was wrong. "Sometimes I feel trapped," Lyra said. "Everyone wants me to be strong, but I just want to live a normal life. I wish I could choose my own future." Ben put his hand gently on hers. "You can choose. You are brave and smart. You can do anything." Lyra smiled, but her eyes were wet. "I hope so." As night fell, they heard strange sounds outside. Ben looked through the window and saw lights moving in the trees. "Someone is out?" "There," he whispered. Lyra grabbed his arm, scared. Ben told her to stay quiet and turned off the fire. They hid behind a pile of crates. Footsteps came closer, and strange voices echoed in the outpost. Ben could see the shadows of 3 aliens from the rival group. They carried glowing weapons and searched the outpost, looking for Lyra. Ben held his breath and waited. One of the aliens walked very close, shining a light over the crates. Lyra squeezed Ben's hand, her eyes wide with fear. The alien turned away, not seeing them, and walked to the other side of the room. After a long time, the aliens left, talking in their strange language. Ben waited until the sounds were gone. "They are looking for you," he whispered. "We cannot stay here," Lyra nodded, still shaking. "Where will we go?" Ben thought hard. "Maybe we can find a better hiding place in the hills. But first we need to rest. We cannot run all night." They made a small bed from old blankets in the corner and tried to sleep. Ben stayed awake for a while, listening for trouble. Lyra fell asleep next to him, her hand in his. Ben felt a strong need to protect her. He knew their friendship was becoming something deeper, but he was afraid to say it out loud. He did not want to break any rules or make Lyra feel trapped. He promised himself he would keep her safe, no matter what. In the morning, Ben woke up to the sound of the radio. A weak voice was calling for them. Ben grabbed the radio and answered. "This is Ben. We are here." The voice was hard to understand, but Ben made out the words, "Help," and "Coming soon." He looked at Lyra. "Someone heard us. Maybe we will be rescued." Lyra smiled with hope. "Thank you, Ben. You never give up." Ben laughed. "Neither do you." They packed up their things and got ready to move. Ben fixed the door so it would not open easily, hoping to slow down anyone who came looking for them. They left the outpost and followed a path deeper into the hills. The world felt wide and full of danger, but Ben was not afraid. He had Lyra with him, and together they would face whatever came next. Ben and Lyra walked carefully along the narrow path into the hills. The morning air was cool, and the sun was hidden behind thick clouds. Ben held the small radio in his hand and checked it every few minutes, hoping for another message. He wanted to believe that help was really coming, but he was not sure. The hills were quiet except for the sound of birds. Both of them watched the shadows, worried that the rival aliens might find them. As they moved through the rocky land, Lyra slipped on a loose stone. Ben reached out and caught her arm before she could fall. She laughed, a little breathless. "Thank you, Ben. I am not used to walking in places like this." Ben smiled. "We will take it slow. We have time." Lyra looked at Ben and nodded. "I trust you." For a while, they walked in silence. Ben tried to think of a safe place to hide. He remembered a spot near a small waterfall where he once camped with Lucas. "Let's try going north," Ben said. "There is a stream and maybe a cave nearby. It will be easier to hide if we need to." Lyra followed him. They crossed a shallow stream and found the place Ben remembered. The waterfall was small but pretty, and a thick group of bush grew near the rocks. Behind the bush, Ben found the opening of a cave. "This will do," he said. "It is hidden, and we can see if anyone comes." Inside, the cave was dark and cool. Ben made a small fire at the entrance to keep them warm and to make a little light. Lyra sat beside him, pulling the jacket close around her shoulders. "I never thought I would be hiding in the wild," she said softly. Ben handed her a piece of bread from his pack. "Sometimes you just have to do what you must." As they ate, Ben told Lyra stories about his childhood on Earth. He talked about snow, and the way it covered everything in white. Lyra had never seen snow, and she listened with wide eyes. She shared memories of her world, how the sky glowed at night, and how children danced under the stars. Soon the radio crackled. Ben listened, but the voice was faint. He could only hear the words "danger" and "move soon." Ben frowned. "Someone is trying to warn us. I think the enemy is close." Lyra looked worried. "What should we do?" Ben stood up and checked outside the cave. "We will wait until night, then move. They are looking for us, but maybe they will not search here." As the sun went down, the air grew cold. Ben and Lyra sat close together, listening to the forest sounds. Lyra shivered, and Ben put his arm around her to keep her warm. "Do you miss your home?" he asked. "I do," Lyra said. "But I am glad I met you." Ben felt his heart beat faster. Me too. For a while they just sat together. Ben watched the stars come out. He saw a shooting star and showed it to Lyra. Make a wish, he whispered. Lyra closed her eyes. I wish I could choose my own life. Ben smiled gently. I hope your wish comes true. The peace did not last long. Suddenly, they heard footsteps outside. Ben put out the fire quickly. He motioned for Lyra to stay quiet. Shadows moved near the cave. Ben held his breath, waiting. A group of aliens from the rival faction were searching, their voices sharp in the dark. Ben squeezed Lyra's hand and she squeezed back. The aliens walked past the cave entrance, not seeing them in the dark. Ben let out a quiet sigh of relief. That was close, Lyra whispered. We have to keep moving, Ben said. They will not give up. They packed up and slipped out of the cave as quietly as they could. Ben led Lyra up a narrow path into the hills. The ground was rough and branches scratched their legs, but they did not stop. At last, they reached a high place where they could see the colony in the distance. Lights were moving. It looked like people were gathering for something big. Maybe help is really coming, Ben said, but we need to be careful. Lyra was tired. Ben found a safe spot behind some rocks for her to rest while he scouted ahead. As he looked around, he saw 2 enemy soldiers setting a trap nearby. Ben quickly returned to Lyra. We cannot go this way, he said. The enemy is waiting. What should we do? Lyra asked. Ben thought hard. I have an idea. If I can make a distraction, you can get past them. Then I will meet you at the old bridge by the river. Lyra grabbed his hand. I do not want to leave you. Ben smiled gently. I will be fine. You have to trust me. Reluctantly, Lyra agreed. Ben picked up a rock and threw it far into the trees. The noise drew the enemy soldiers away from their trap. Lyra moved quickly and quietly past them, heading for the bridge. Ben waited until the path was clear, then followed a different route. Got at the bridge. Ben and Lyra met again. Both were tired but happy to be safe. You did well, Ben said. We make a good team. Lyra smiled, her eyes bright. I was scared, but you gave me courage. Together, they crossed the river and moved through a patch of tall grass. They saw more soldiers searching for them, but managed to stay hidden. At last, they found an old shed. Where they could rest, Ben checked the radio one more time. This time, the voice was clear. Help is coming. Stay hidden until dawn, Ben grinned. Someone is on the way. We just have to wait a little longer. Lyra looked at Ben with hope. You are always calm, she said. Even when things are bad? Ben shook his head. I am afraid too, but I want to protect you. For a while, they talked quietly. Lyra said she wished things were different. She wished there was no war or fighting, Ben agreed. Someday, maybe our people will live in peace? Lyra turned to Ben, her face soft in the moonlight. If I could choose, I would stay here with you. I would not go back to my old life. Ben did not know what to say. He felt the same way, but he was afraid to say it out loud. He just smiled and squeezed Lyra's hand. The night passed slowly. Ben stayed awake, listening for trouble. Every sound made him nervous, but he was glad Lyra was with him. As the sky began to turn pale with the first light of dawn, Ben heard footsteps outside. He looked through a crack in the wall and saw a group of humans with colony uniforms. They carried bright lanterns and called out softly, Ben, Lyra, are you there? Ben opened the door and waved. Here! The rescuers hurried inside. Lyra hugged Ben with relief. You kept your promise, Ben smiled. I told you we would be safe. Together they walked out into the new morning, ready to face whatever would come next. Ben, Lyra, and the rescue team walked back toward the colony as the morning sun rose. The rescuers were kind but serious. They told Ben that the whole colony was in danger. Everyone knew about the rival alien group, and people were worried. Lyra stayed close to Ben, her hand sometimes brushing against his. She was quiet, thinking about all that had happened. Ben wanted to comfort her, but he knew they were not safe yet. The leader of the rescue team was a woman named Claire. She was brave and calm, with a kind face. Claire spoke softly to Lyra. Your father is waiting. He is worried about you. But there is more, The leaders of both sides are meeting today. There is a chance for peace, but it will not be easy. Lyra nodded. Thank you for saving us. When they reached the colony, Ben saw groups of humans and aliens gathered near the main hall. Everyone looked tired and scared. There were guards everywhere. Ben and Lyra were taken to a safe room inside the main building. Claire told them to rest and wait for news. Inside the room, Ben sat next to Lyra on a small bench. Are you all right? He asked. Lyra nodded, but her eyes were worried. I do not know what will happen now. The enemy wants to take me away. My father wants to keep me safe, but he does not trust humans. Your people are afraid too. Ben tried to smile. Maybe we can help. Maybe if we talk to both sides, they will. Listen, Lyra looked surprised. Do you really think so? Ben nodded. I have seen what you can do. You are brave. They will listen if you speak from your heart. For a while, they waited in the quiet room. Ben thought about everything that had happened. He felt tired, but he knew they could not give up. After a long time, Claire returned. She looked serious. The meeting is about to start. The leaders want you both to be there. They believe your words can help. Ben and Lyra followed Claire through the hallways to the meeting room. The room was filled with important people from both the human and alien sides. Lyra's father stood at one end of the table, looking strong and worried. Across from him stood the leader of the rival aliens, a tall woman with sharp features and dark eyes. The air was tense. Claire spoke to the group. We are here to talk, not to fight. Everyone must listen. Lyra's father spoke first. My daughter is not a prize for anyone. She must be safe. The rival leader replied, We want peace, but we do not trust your people. Humans are always hiding secrets. Ben watched Lyra. She stood up straight and took a deep breath. Please let us not fight. I have lived with humans. They can be kind and brave. Ben saved my life many times. He did not do it for power or reward. He did it because he cares. We can find peace if we trust each other. Some people in the room nodded. Others looked unsure. Ben knew it was his turn. He stood up. I am just an engineer. I do not lead anyone. But I have seen good in both humans and aliens. We are not so different. I want a future where we work together, not against each other. There was silence in the room. Ben felt nervous, but he kept speaking. If we keep fighting, everyone will lose, but if we make peace, our children will live in a better world. Lyra's father looked at his daughter. Do you really trust these people? Lyra nodded. I do. Ben showed me what is possible when we work together. The rival leader was quiet for a long time. Then she said, Maybe we have been wrong. Maybe peace is possible. But how can we trust after so many years of fighting? Ben looked at Lyra. Maybe we start small. Let people visit each other's homes. Let children learn together. Build something together. It will not happen overnight, but it can begin today. The leaders talked quietly among themselves. At last, they agreed to a truce. Both sides would stop fighting and try to build trust. The news spread quickly through the colony. People were happy and hopeful, but some were still afraid. Lyra's father hugged her tightly. You are brave, my daughter. I am proud of you, Lyra smiled, her eyes wet. I learned from Ben. Ben felt a mix of happiness and relief. He wanted to believe that things would really change. He found Lucas waiting for him outside. Lucas grinned and slapped Ben on the back. You did good, man. Never thought I would see the day. As the sun set, the colony held a celebration. People danced and sang, both humans and aliens together. Food was shared, and for the first time in a long while, the air was filled with laughter. Ben and Lyra stood together near the edge of the crowd, watching the joy around them. Lyra turned to Ben. Do you think it will last? Ben smiled. I do not know. But today we made a start. They walked together through the crowd. Children ran past, some with blue skin like Lyra, others with brown or pale skin like Ben. They played together, not caring about old fights. Ben felt hope for the first time in many days. Later that night, Lyra asked Ben to walk with her to the garden behind the main hall. The garden was quiet, filled with strange flowers that glowed in the dark. Lyra looked at Ben, her face soft in the moonlight. "Thank you for everything," she said. "You gave me courage to speak up," Ben shook his head. "You were always brave." "I just reminded you," Lyra took a deep breath. "Ben, can I ask you something?" Ben nodded. "Of course." She looked shy for a moment. "If you could choose, would you stay here? Would you stay with me?" Ben felt his heart beat faster. He looked at Lyra, seeing all the kindness and strength in her eyes. "I would stay. I want to see what kind of world we can build together." Lyra smiled, happy and a little sad. "Sometimes I wish you could be my husband." "In my world, I would choose you." Ben was surprised. He did not know what to say at first. He reached out and took Lyra's hand. "If it were possible, I would choose you too." For a long time they stood in the garden, holding hands. The stars above seemed brighter, and the night was peaceful. Ben knew that tomorrow would bring new challenges, but tonight he was happy. He felt that anything was possible if they faced it together. As the celebration ended, Ben and Lyra walked back to the main building. People were still singing and telling stories. Some looked at Ben and Lyra with hope, others with curiosity, but Ben did not care. He felt proud of what they had done. He knew that their friendship, and maybe even their love, could change both worlds forever. Ben and Lyra walked through the early morning light toward the main hall. The colony felt calm after the celebration, but Ben knew there was much work to do. As they reached the building, they saw groups of humans and aliens cleaning up and talking quietly. The truce was new, and people were both hopeful and nervous. Ben looked at Lyra. "Today we start building peace," he said. Lyra nodded. "We have to show that trust is possible." Mrs. Clark and Claire were waiting for them. Claire smiled kindly. "We will meet with leaders from both sides soon. First, we need to open talks with the people. They must know why we chose peace." Lyra took a deep breath. "I will speak to them." They walked to the central square, where a small crowd gathered. Ben stayed at Lyra's side. She stood on a low platform and looked at the crowd, her blue skin glowing in the sun. She spoke clearly. "Everyone, thank you for trusting me and Ben. Today we begin a new chapter. We will open our doors to each other. Humans will visit alien homes, and aliens will learn human skills. We will share knowledge and work together." The crowd was quiet at first. Then a human woman stepped forward. "What will happen if someone breaks the promise?" she asked. Lyra looked. "Come, we will talk and solve the problem. We will not fight." An alien man with pale green skin spoke next. "We have heard war for many years. How do we know the humans will keep their word?" Ben stepped forward. "I am not a leader, but I promise to be honest. I will work with you. If there is a problem, I will help fix it. We can build safe ways to share information. Double quotes. Mrs. Clark joined them. "We will set up teams of humans and aliens to check on the agreements. If there is a problem, we will meet and talk." Slowly, people nodded. Some clapped. The mood felt lighter than before. Ben and Lyra looked at each other and smiled. After the meeting, Ben and Lyra walked with Lucas to the workshop area. Ben wanted to teach aliens how to fix human machines, while Lyra wanted to show humans how to tend the floating gardens she remembered from her home. They planned exchanges where each side would share knowledge. "I am excited," Lyra said. "I want to learn how to grow earth plants," Ben laughed. "You will be very good at it. I can teach you." In the afternoon, they visited the alien quarters. Lyra showed Ben her home, with tall windows and glowing stones that lit the rooms. Ben fixed a broken lamp there, and the family thanked him with a small gift of bright fruit from their world. Ben tasted it. It was sweet and juicy. As they walked back, Lyra asked, "What will you miss from Earth?" Ben thought. "I miss my family and the mountains, but I have new family here. And new mountains to explore." Lyra smiled. "And I miss the sky of my world, but this sky is beautiful too." Ben and Lyra spent the evening at the human housing area. They helped cook food for both humans and aliens. Lyra showed how to use energy stones to warm the ovens. Humans taught how to bake bread. The smell of fresh bread filled the air, and everyone ate together. There was laughter and sharing, and for a while, old fears felt far away. As night fell, Ben and Lyra walked to the outer wall of the colony. They looked at the stars. Lyra said quietly, "Do you think one day we can go to my home planet together?" Ben looked at her. "I would like that. I want to see your world and you by my side." Lyra's eyes shone. "In my world, I would ask you to be my husband, but we have our own lives here." "Still, I wish it could be." Ben took her hand. "Maybe one day we can find a way. For now, we build peace here. Our people need us." "But I promise I will stand by you." Lyra leaned close. "Thank you, Ben. You are my friend and more." She paused. "One day I hope you hear me say that again in my world." Ben nodded. "And I will say it in yours." The next morning, Ben gathered a team of engineers, both human and alien, to repair and improve the colony's machines. Lyra joined a group planting earth seeds in the shared garden. They both worked side by side with others, showing how cooperation could bring real change. Over the following weeks, the colony began to change. People from both sides learned new skills, shared stories, and built new machines together. Children played and laughed in both languages. Ben and Lyra met each morning to plan the next steps, their friendship deepening. One day, Lyra received a message from her father. He invited Ben to a ceremony in the palace. At the palace, Lyra's father wore bright robes and greeted Ben warmly. "You have done more than I imagined," he said. "You brought my daughter home and showed my people that humans can be friends. For that, I will always be grateful." Ben bowed. "I only did what felt right." Lyra's father smiled. He turned to Lyra. "My daughter, you have grown. You have chosen your path. What do you wish now?" Lyra looked at Ben, then at her father. "I wish to stay here. I wish to help build this new world with Ben." Her father nodded. "So it shall be." Later, Ben and Lyra stood on a balcony, looking out at the colony. Ben held Lyra's hand. She looked up at him. "We have done it," she said softly. Don smiled. "We have only just begun." They stood together, ready for the future. The alien princess and the human engineer had faced danger, spoken for peace, and changed two worlds. And now, as they watched the sun set on Haven, they dreamed of a life where their love and the peace they built would last forever.